Hello, students in exploring plant and animal science. So, today is the day that we are starting to look at our first animal science course information. So, I figured we would start things out simple. We start things out with a little bit of things that you would probably already know and understand. So, before we get into talking about how we raise cows, sheep, pigs, goats, and chickens, our staple sources of meat and other products, I figured we may want to take a minute and take a breather and discuss how we talk about these different types of animals. What are the proper terms used when describing animals that we are raising for the purpose of harvest, slaughter, and food? Okay, so what I present to you today, what do you call it? An introduction to livestock terminology. Now, guys, I would recommend that you create a chart, and the chart will be very similar to, what I'm going to show you in a minute. And I'll describe it as I am explaining. Okay? So, the first thing that we need to talk about are what are some terms that are common in the livestock industry and what do they mean? So, the first term that I want us to talk about is the term mature. So I'm going to bring this over just a little bit. And so the term mature in the livestock industry relates to essentially that an animal is complete in its growth or development. We would call it an adult. So, our adult animal are what we call mature. And so there would be mature females and mature males. Okay? Then there's the term castrate or castrated. Okay? So when I'm presenting information, I am going to use scientific terms and be very blunt with that information. So to castrate is to remove the male reproductive organs, the testes. Okay, this takes away the male animal's ability to reproduce. This is done for two major reasons. One, to control the population of a herd, to control when the animals can have offspring, and second is to make the male animals not have testosterone so that they'll be a little more easy to raise with other animals. Okay, so they won't get in fights and hurt each other. The third term is offspring, or the children of a particular parent, or the children or young of a particular species. And then the final term, the final phrase that I want you to be aware of is agricultural product. Okay? This is a product, the result of an agricultural process that is ready for consumption. So, for example, okay, corn, we don't just rip up the whole stalk and take it to the market and sell it. Okay? There is a processing that happens. Okay? And so the final product, the agricultural product of corn, is things like canned corn or corn on the cob, things that people would purchase at the grocery store. So when we're thinking about agricultural products, we are thinking about what consumers, what people are going to be buying and using with that product in mind. Okay? So with that stated, let's get to our charts. So what I would create, guys, is a chart that on the column on the left, I would write mature female, young female, mature male, castrated male, offspring/young, agricultural products, and then on top of that cell, I would write the name of the species, cattle. Okay, so there are 5 species that we are going to be learning these proper terms from: cattle, swine, sheep, goats, and poultry. The poultry in particular are chickens. Okay, so for your benefit, I'm going to go over and pronounce each of these terms so that you guys will be able to know how they're said and phrased. Okay, so we are on cattle, which are cows. When we talk about cows as a group, they are cattle in the livestock industry. So a mature female animal of the cattle species is called a cow. So an adult female, a mature female, is a cow. A young female. Now, how we define young is that this particular animal has not had offspring yet. Okay? After a young female has offspring, they are considered mature. Okay? So a young female cow is called a heifer. A mature male cow is a bull. A castrated male cow is a steer. The offspring of the cattle species is called a calf. And the 2 agricultural products that we get from cattle are beef and milk. Okay, so there are 2 products, beef and milk. So this is going to take us to our next column. Okay, so you'll want the title at the top of that column, sheep. And we're going to follow right along. Mature female, young female, mature male, castrated male, offspring, agricultural products. So a mature female sheep is called a ewe. Okay, just like calling someone, hey, you. It's pronounced you. Okay, it's just spelled E-W-E. Okay, a young female is a ewe lamb. A mature male is a ram. And a castrated male is called a wether. Okay, just like saying, hey, the weather is really hot today. It's just spelled differently. And then offspring of sheep is a lamb. And the agricultural product of sheep is lamb, if it's a young animal. Mutton, if the animal is 1.5 years or older. And of course, we get wool from sheep. Okay, so our next is swine, pigs, hogs. So as a group, in the livestock industry, we refer to pigs as swine. Okay, when we're talking about them as a species, they are swine. Okay, now the term swine, pigs, hogs, they're all interchangeable. Okay, so I'm not going to get super picky and correct you, but I want you to know that the proper term in the livestock industry is swine. A mature female pig is a sow. Okay, S-O-W, sow. A young female pig is a gilt. G-I-L-T, gilt. A mature male is a boar. A castrated male is a barrow. The offspring of the swine species is a piglet. And the agricultural product for swine is pork. And pork comes in a lot of different varieties. Ham, bacon, sausage, pork chops, pork tenderloin, barbecue. Okay, so the general term for the meat of a pig, for the meat of swine, is pork. All right, so next slide, poultry. This is our last slide, guys. So this will be the last column. So, goats. A mature female goat is called a doe. Just like a female deer is a doe, a mature female goat is a doe. A young female goat is a doe kid. Okay, a doe kid. A mature male goat is a buck, just like a mature male deer is a buck. A castrated male goat and a castrated male sheep share the same name, weather. Just like, hey, the weather is hot, but it is spelled differently, W-E-T-H-E-R. The offspring of a goat and the goat species is called a kid. And the agricultural product of goats is chivan or cabrito. Okay, those are the two terms used to describe goat meat. So, guys, when it comes down to what do you call it, these are the terms that we're going to be using as we are going through our lessons when we're learning about how we raise and produce these animals. So, guys, just think about that. Throughout this week, you're going to have a couple of assignments that are going to be sorting these terms in the categories. You're going to be doing a Quizlet on these terms that I'm going to give you a couple of days to complete. And then moving forward, I'm hoping that you will be using these terms properly, and I'll correct you when you are not, whether we're face-to-face or virtual. That's our time, guys. Have a great day.